Beatnik is actually my record label, producer name, and kind of records mantra for the whole brand. And then a lot of people know me as DJ Nikki.
Right.
Even a lot of my friends, which is really weird, just call me DJ Nikki, not Nikki, which is always strange, but yeah. So yeah, it's Nikki Beatnik, but either of those is fine.
Okay. So you describe yourself as an international DJ, and you've got a glittering career. But is it right that you come from a fine art background, and can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so growing up,
Yeah.
I grew up in the Highlands of Scotland with 6 children in my entire school. We're in the mountains, so it was like 25 miles to the nearest town. Always snowed in. I end up being an international DJ, having been to like 75 countries, played on stages with so many big artists, on parties for like Beyonce and Jennifer Lopez and Janet Jackson and all these crazy things. But it started because the 2 things that I could do as a kid that I knew I was good at was playing music. So I started playing just by ear instruments when I was about 4 and drawing. And then I remember playing records on the record player when I was 4 and always standing next to the speakers and dancing. And so I basically came out this person, right? So where you start and where you end up are 2 sometimes completely different places, and you shouldn't be defined by that, basically. But so yeah, I got a free place at music school when I was quite young in Scotland because they were trying to fund kids from the middle of nowhere to go to music school, so I was really blessed with that. And then I continued when we moved to London when I was 11, and I went from a school of 6 people to a school of 1,000 people. Massive culture shock for me. And long story short, I ended up going through school doing quite well and getting a place at Surrey Institute doing fine art. Basically, I was still playing instruments, but I'd started DJing by then. So I was very, very early woman DJ. So 1989, I got my first decks. And I was DJing in clubs before I was legal to be in clubs. So I came off the back of the rave movement and warehouse parties and things like that. So I went to art college. Yes, I did do my degree, but the whole time I was doing my degree, I was also throwing raves and making money. So I think I was more of an entrepreneur and just fueled by art and music with my 2 things. And also when I was at art school, it was very male dominated, and I think that set me up for the music industry, because still to this day, I'm a female producer, so I produce records and write songs. We are only 3% of the entire industry is women. There's more visibility now of women DJs, but when I was at art college, it was quite misogynistic in the 90s, and they weren't ready for the kind of art that I did. And the guys would get the tutor's ear, and they wouldn't be ripped apart in when you showed your work and stuff. It was like a lot of my male tutors wouldn't even look me in the eye when they come and talk about my work and things like that. It's a lot of mansplaining, a lot of gaslighting. I didn't even know what that meant till recently. I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what's been happening to me this entire time. But I think being ripped to shreds in my fine art degree set me up for how tough the music industry was for women. Because as a pioneer of women DJs, there was literally maybe 5 or 6 that I could count at the time in the 90s when I was playing in clubs in London. And it was the Wild West. You got paid in cash. Male promoters would refuse to pay you. You'd have to have a fight to get your, like literal fight to get your money. Guy DJs would throw your records out of the booth, make their friends stand in front of the record deck so you couldn't get to them. They'd steal your stuff. Like, it was the Wild West. It was absolutely crazy in clubs in that time. So I think that set me up really well. It also informed me of how to design stuff for the record label. Between my brother and I, we have Beatnik together. We produce records and we release records. We do all the design for our record sleeves. We've directed videos, styled videos, like all the stuff that I did in my fine art degree. And the hard times that I had doing that and the amount of shit that I took from tutors in those days basically made me so belligerent and so stubborn that it really paved the way for everything else that I've done. And I feel like my love of art and knowledge of the stuff that I learned over like doing my foundation course and studying fashion and then going into fine art, it's really informed everything else that I've done. So I feel really sad now that hardly any kids in art school get to do fine art. It's like, I think my college now takes 4 fine artists a year, where it used to be 90 or 100. And because we take up so much space, right? So a graphic design student's just sitting at a laptop.
It's worse than that, but even A-level art is very available.
Yeah, in school. And then I read a statistic that I think only 13% of creatives, so artists, actors, musicians, are from non-private schools.
Yeah, I read that.
So the rest of everyone else is dominating, like more than 80% are from private schools. And I am like basically a socialist at heart, so that really grinds me as well, the fact that there's less opportunities, it takes us a lot. It's always who you know, right?
Yeah.
So in essence, yeah, my fine art background and drawing, I don't do too much of it now, but it has informed everything else that I've done in my life.
Yeah,
So-
that's so interesting. And it would be really interesting later on today talking to younger creatives to see whether that misogyny has changed. Because learning graphic design in the 80s, we didn't learn about a single woman designer. And it's only later I discovered all these amazing women like Sister Creta Kent, who is this crazy Andy Warhol type artist nun. And it would have been so important to know about her. People knew about her, but we were not told about her on our syllabus. And it would be really interesting to see how that has changed. And the other thing I thought was really interesting is like the whole rave culture was a very DIY culture, and you just took that on board. And you know, if you're doing posters for your raves and promoting, you have to have all those skills, and you learn all those skills.
For sure.
And I think as more technology has arrived, it's easy to welcome it all, and if you're happy working with technology in one field, then you're more likely to explore something in another field, and you've obviously done that throughout your whole career. And so I'm going to ask you to tell me a bit more about Mums That Rave now.
Okay, so Mums at Rave, the clue's in the name really. It's a rave for mums, but it's also an online community. Since the beginning of this year, we've had 30 million reach all over the world, and it's just taken off online. I post a lot of funny stuff, a lot of mum stuff, a lot of raving. I'm always like, listen, if you're having a shit day, what's the best thing to do is put on some tunes that you love and just try and tune out all the crap and just have a dance. So that's the essence of Mums at Rave, and it was really about getting a group of mums together to show that, because I guess because of what I suffered in the music industry again, when I had my kid, I lost a lot of clients overnight. So people that had booked me, like H&M for years, or Topshop, to DJ at their launches, because I was now a mum. It was like 9 years ago, so a lot's changed since then. There's more visibility of pop stars being pregnant and just more mums on stage. But I was DJing festivals to 50,000 people, 8 months pregnant. I didn't stop DJing. I was on 2 tours with All Saints and with Khalees the whole time I was pregnant. I was on tour buses, sleeping in what's like a coffin in a bus, basically with all men, like crew and TM, tour managers and stuff. So, but I got, I did get comments actually when I was in clubs DJing pregnant as well. So I was like, why is everyone making comments about why am I here? They don't do that to dads. So I just found, and then they'd ask me questions after I'd had my kid about, who's looking after your kid? If I'm now doing an interview for someone about my record label, or if I'm out DJing or releasing a record, they're like, well, where's your child? Like, does anyone ask little Louis Vega this, or Calvin Harris, or any of these people about their kids? No, they don't. So that kind of fueled me to go, well, if I want to go out and I'm still having fun, and I think this should be encouraged, and lots of people have babies at 20, so what are they supposed to do? Stop their life at 20 and not go out again? And there's a lot of judgment, like especially on social media, there's judgment of mums, and there's a lot of mum cliques. I wanted to like get rid of all of that and just say everyone's welcome. If you want to come and have fun, all ages, all demographics. So basically that's what I tried to do, and starts off with a panel. We have inspirational women on it, and then we have a big old rave. And so far there's been, I think, 1,700 women, 15 raves since 2019. I've been in Forbes magazine, The Times, Lewisham Ledger, like my local paper, I've done a piece on it. Peckham Peculiar did a piece on it. I was on Radio 5 talking about it last year for International Women's Day because they were like, oh, this is kind of cool. But they still couldn't quite understand the fact that it's all women and all mums. But let me tell you that you've never seen people go as crazy as women on a Saturday afternoon. The queues for the bar is like an hour long, and it's just absolutely wild. And we play drum and bass, we play house music, we play hip hop, we play stuff which is not stereotypical to what people think mum culture is. Getting your hair cut in a bob, wearing a Breton top and having a coffee and pushing the pram, which is what a lot of mum Instagrammers show, right? My life's not like that. Most of the time I'm like in a shit show trying to, if I've got a DJ gig, what am I supposed to be doing? Where's the school? What's my kid doing this week? It's book day this week. I'm like, oh God, I've got to find him a costume for International Book Day. So it's kind of all those mums that feel like they don't fit in can come to Mums at Rave. We've had companies founded off the back of it where mums have met each other, been inspired by the panel and founded a new company or a new Instagram.
Can you tell me a bit more about the panels? Because it sounds amazing to me. There's this rave, but it begins with a panel a bit like this.
It's a good way of breaking it down to everyone and also trying to just inspire people that there's more substance to it. And I just wanted to give a voice to people that weren't the normal Instagram mums that talk on panels or get invited on ITV or This Morning or Lorraine, because that's not representative of me. And I was like, if I'm here and I want to do these things still, and what I want to show, especially with the panelists, is that even if you've had this life and now you feel a million miles away from it, you can still pivot and do something else or change direction or change career, which often happens to women, right? Because we're juggling. And usually, let's be real, we do take on most of the childcare. We are the ones that remember about the book day and what they like in their packed lunch and doing the after school clubs and all of these things. So that's what I kind of wanted to show in the panel, but also show that there's women still doing amazing things. So yeah, the panel, it blows my mind every time. There's been some incredible people. Karen, you've been on it, haven't you? You've not been on our panel yet?
She's next.
We need to be.
Next
Karen's next. She's been many times, but yeah, it's just, it blows my mind. And one time I had a message from someone saying, I came to Mums at Rave, it inspired me so much. The next day I applied for the job I always thought I wasn't good enough for. I cut my hair off. I was like, whoa, step too far. I've got a whole new look. I got the job. My life's changed. And I just wanted to send you a message on Instagram and say thanks so much. And I was just like, oh my God, am I crying? The onions in the room. Like, it was so cute. I just thought, you know what, I just got to keep going with this. So the numbers on social media have gone through the roof the last few months, but that's not really why I do it. But it's good to know that I'm also reaching people in America and Australia and all over the place, and they identify with what we're trying to do.
So are you going to do a Mums That Rave world tour?
I would love to. That was always my vision. I was always like, I want to take it to LA because my friends are all there. I want to do like a Hollywood version and get some of those mums to like, you know, like this and have it on video and live stream it or something. Maybe, yeah, I mean, why not? I tour anyway with music, so it's not like a big thing to me. I'm like, yeah, let's go to wherever.
Fantastic.
Why not? Bali. That'd be nice. Ibiza.
Where do we look on Instagram for you? Or?
Oh yeah, I'm on it. I'm every single platform. Everything. My whole life is social media all the time. mumsatrave.com or @mumsatrave on all the platforms. Yeah, I try and post really funny stuff every day so it's not too serious, because one thing that we do need more of is joy and laughter. And I find most of the time with my life especially, it's so up and down in my career all the time, and there's so many disappointments in music. You need to laugh about it, otherwise you'd literally be like, oh my God, like, it's terrible. So yeah, I approach everything with a bit of humour.
Any advice for young aspiring creatives?
That is a loaded question, isn't it? Like, if I had the answer to that, my life would be perfect.
You can
but
think about that one.
yeah, advice. Don't take any shit off anyone. If you really believe in something, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but don't let anyone put you off. Like, people will find a million reasons for you not to do something. But if you believe it in your heart and you think, yeah, I think I can make this happen, if you get one door shut on you, go to the next one and keep asking it, and basically kick that door down, or start a new building with a new door of your own. That's what I did with DJing. No one wanted to give me DJ slots. It was all guys, and no one wanted to give me a chance. And I just had to start my own parties and do it like that. And then when they started getting hugely successful, like Madonna coming and Pharrell and people like that, then everyone wanted to book me. But until I'd created my own hype, no one was interested. So I think, create your own hype a bit. I think it's a lot easier now with social media as well. You can reach a lot of people in a lot of different places and they might get you. And if you are true to yourself, I mean, don't always say the first thing that comes in your head sometimes. Edit it a little bit for socials. So there's a lot of noise out there as well. So you've got to try and keep your message of what you're about on point rather than just be posting random stuff all the time. You can go down that trap, especially as creatives. I know DJs now that feel more pressure to create content constantly than to actually be DJing or out chasing gigs, which is quite sad because you can blow up on a TikTok video quite quickly, but everyone's chasing that clout now, so they feel like they've got to post every single day, 3 times a day. It's exhausting for creatives. You're going to be doing that. You're going to exhaust yourself and not have any time to actually be creative. So like Karen said, I always have a time of silence every day as well. I've always done that because I work with music and noise. I'm actually going deaf as well, but we won't talk about that a bit. But yeah, the noise all the time in clubs, or if I'm making music or writing, I try to have silence every day, and that is really important, I think. But yeah, it's if there was new young creatives, I'd probably be better at saying, right, let me look at your Instagram. Okay, I can give you these tips. This is how to monetize this. You should go down that route. I'm quite good at entrepreneurial side.
Advice is to young creatives can talk and ask for advice from the older people around.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Always ask for advice from people. If I don't know something, I was really shy as a kid, but I've learned not to be so shy because I had to fight for everything in my DJ career. But if I don't know something now, I'm like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Yeah. I don't care if I look stupid. I'm just like, can you explain that to me? Sorry, didn't get it. Repeat it. I don't feel embarrassed at all about.
So the Hastings Creatives email list that probably a lot of you know about if you live in this area. I think that local creatives are so generous with their time and support, and you can put a little question out about something, you'll get loads of replies back.
That's amazing.
That's a lovely resource. But I think, if you ask, you're more likely than not to get support. Last question, International Women's Day. Can you talk or name a woman who has impacted positively on your life?
Really directly, it's just my family. So my mum, my grandma, my sister, they're all very, even my great-grandma, she was a milliner, had her own shop. My grandma was an entrepreneur. My mum was working at advertising in the 90s. Like, we all come from really ordinary background, like our ancestors were all farmers. We're not, the one thing that they all my family drummed into us was education and just, if you've got the opportunity to do a degree, do it, get as much education as you can. Every day I'm still learning. I love reading stuff, I love factual things. So they really instilled that in me, and a lot of real hard work ethic as well, which I really respect. And my sister's super smart and never stops basically. So I think we've all got that work ethic in us. But I think I'd probably dedicate International Women's Day to other women DJs and producers, because like I said, producers, that's what I've moved more into now. We're still only 3% of the whole entire industry, and I haven't been given the same opportunities as men that do my job. I've been overlooked so much as a woman producer and not respected when I can do just as well as the guys. And that's how it was in DJing when I started out, and now there's so much more visibility of women DJs. It's not such a big thing. So that's probably who I dedicate International Women's Day to, all the women DJs and producers out there that are still killing it.